Welcome to Skill Set Engage. So, since we last left, we have been working on the recessed fire pit here, slash patio area. Now, one of the critical features of this is we have to do drainage, and for that we've been doing gravel. We have the Trommel sifted out most of the rocks that you see in front of you here, and we were able to get decent cover. Things I would change about this design, as I've discovered it, either due to possibly overlapping different lengths with the joining boards with regards to this structure, we probably have, and also even density of the wood, we have a little bit of off balance here. So one of the things I added that is a key feature is I just strapped on and zip tied this level here. Now what that has enabled me to do is have that nice little bit of reassurance as I go through this process of moving this around, like, oh yeah, I am actually level. And added a couple counterweight boards drilled to that end to kind of help with the process of teetering this out. Another facet that I would probably change from the start I'd probably use 550 paracord. There would be a lot less kind of, there's a lot of elasticity with this cord. It's worked out all right. In the future, probably use something with a little bit less flexibility to it, so it would be a little bit more taut and keep me in the spot that I want to be for the most part. The next thing is also the hole. I'm gonna have to burrow the hole a little bit wider than what it is now. Yes, that helps with keeping it rigid to the pipe that's hammered all the way down, straight down, but it's one of those, as it's exposed to the elements, it started to expand a little bit, so maybe add some lubrication if I can find a lubrication that isn't going to expand my wood with regards to the project here. Alrighty, now this has worked out all right. So you'll notice I'm keeping an eye on the bubble, and I'm just going to start bringing this thing around. I'm going to hit high points, rough approx, and that is going to be my points that are going to drive me bonkers. So I'm going to step on that rock and drive it into the ground. That way I can continue working my way around, and I'm going to hit something else. This guy right here, ever so slightly raised. Not a big deal. Step on it, drive it into the ground. Now, as we continue around this circle, we'll hit most all major high points as we encounter them. And maybe they're a big deal, maybe they're not. We're going to be bringing in some more material a little bit later. So we're actually going to raise this up ever so slightly as we spread that out across this process. So, yeah, so far I would have to say I like it. There are a couple things I could probably do differently. Maybe do bearings in the middle there would be an interesting idea. I'd have to go much thicker for the core there. But other than that, this has worked out all right. Where we last left off with regards to this, we had laid out the gravel and the rocks out here that were sifted out. And now we've gone for the sand layer. And right now we're slowly sifting that out, getting all the low points filled in and the high points kind of sheared off. Now, to see this thing in action, you're going to see a lot of my footprints here, and hopefully most of that disappears. So as we start going around this whole setup here, you're going to see buildup there. That'll disappear as we hit low points, and it's actually building up on the other side too. And when we get too much, we can rake it to actual low points as we go through this process. Next one, and what we're actually going to do is I'm going to drive stakes into the ground where I want the circle drawn, mounted to this structure, so I'll know where my fire pit goes, and then we'll draw linear lines out to where I want my steps to go from the fire pit, so we can get everything in line and start laying out the pavers after we pack down the sand. So, something that I learned with my design particularly here, and it actually has a lot to do with torsion physics and how things are counterweighted. Now, you'll notice that I have the board here, and I have another board slapped onto the other side on each respective side. Now what this has done is it's caused the wood to kind of start to twist. Now this is good and bad. For the most part, as far as I can tell, everything's level, so that's good. But it can actually cause things to warp in a direction you don't want them to, so that's another cause for caution as you go forward with this. Now, with this has gained me two different things. If I push in this direction, basically what you have is you have a 90-degree kind of plowing its way into the ground. And you'll see that here in just a moment as I basically push in this direction. You'll see how the soil's just building up on this side. Now, if I push in the opposite direction, that 90-degree is now kind of a flattening plane, which has actually turned out really awesome with regards to this project. So as I work my way around, you'll see a lot less material is actually getting shoved up in front, and it's actually doing a very good job at smoothing with regards to the project. So, something I wasn't expecting has had a good effect on what I'm working on here. Would avoid it if at all possible, but that's the thing with adding boards in length here, is you're going to wind up with some twists if you're counterweighting it one direction versus another. So things you could probably do if you wanted to keep it steady and flat, you can add a board equal and opposite to the other side. Or you could replace the length steadily with a longer and longer board. That's your other option. Now, whichever way you go, it's all a matter of resources and what you have available to you, so something to consider. So what you see here and what we actually found out is because of the slant, if I go against the 90, I backfill low spots easier, and if I go the other direction, it allows it to smooth out a lot. Now you're going to see in that lower left-hand corner there is a triangle, 45-degree cut off of a 2x4 that I just planted in the ground. And I have an opposing one on the other side that also is in the ground, and that marks the outside ring of my fire pit. That tells me where I could stop laying bricks because I don't intend on running the bricks all the way underneath the fire pit section. Alrighty, thank you kindly.